Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the video. I'm Kevin O. Bing, and I am doing finishing touches on Mary Shelley and Adam, Frankenstein's monster. I'm starting this by writing down the full quote that I had intended to use, but it felt too complicated. So I trimmed it down to the part that I think is the most popular. The I have love in me, the likes of which you can scarcely imagine, and rage, the likes of which you would not believe. If I cannot satisfy one, I will indulge the other. And what I really want to talk about is improvisation. Like you just saw, I trimmed down the quote. I tried it once and I thought it was too complicated. And the rough image I had in my head, there were certain elements I was trying to apply to it. When I came back from work that day that this part was filmed, I decided to completely start this over because what I had imagined was trying to mix a certain kind of alchemy with science. So you saw I laid down orange, and you might notice that's the only other color besides Adam's eyes. And it's not a coincidence because it's the same color. The subtitle for Frankenstein's monster is "Or the Modern Prometheus" because Dr. Frankenstein is the modern Prometheus and Adam is the modern man. And Prometheus gave fire to man, the fire of life to Adam. So it added a nice kind of, I think, mystical, thematic connection. And not only, I'd like to point out, do I improvise with the image at this point, I improvise with my tools. You just saw that I used a book as a ruler. I couldn't find my rulers because my studio is a mess. But I could find David Lynch's book, so there you go. And now I am just laying down what feels right in terms of the background color. I wanted to separate the table from what is around them, so they have slightly different colors. One is a lighter gray and one is a more earth tone gray. And I'm going to put that all around the text. Initially, it was because I didn't want to smear the text or get it lost behind the inking. I wasn't sure how well that process would work, so I just left it alone, which was fine for improvising, especially since I really dried out these markers on this image, which, considering they were pretty cheap at the art supply store and bought on a whim, like months before I started this, and I've used them many times before, I think it was a good investment. Yeah. And so now I'm laying down this dark. I think it's going to be the framing device, the framing shadow, but I get some sleep. I take overnight, I come back the next day, and boom, I decide, I was processing it, but I decide that it's not good enough. It's not dark enough. It's admittedly not Mignola enough. If you remember my last video, Mike Mignola, great influence, lots of dark pools of black. But it also, to me, adds a nicer continuity between the coat and the sides. And I will eventually lay down more. on the other side.
So I just experienced some technical difficulties while lettering here. I got to the likes of which you can and realized that it was frozen. The audio recorded, but it seemed to have just stopped at I ha. So, apologies. That's why there's going to be a jump. Anyway, back to it.
So even though the video froze before when I started this, as you can see now on my tablet, I just found a random font that I thought worked well, and I went with that. And then I messed up spelling imagine. Uh, sure, John Lennon will be sad, but sometimes these things happen. It will not be the last mistake I make. So yeah, improvising. Make sure you're paying attention to the lettering. I also screwed up the N on Imagine, but at this point I did not care. I just had to change the A and I wanted to finish. I do like the lettering. I like that it has a very it's obviously hand lettered calligraphy, but I like that it looks so handwritten. So in that way, I'm really happy with it. I'm not happy, however, that you might have noticed typo number 2. I forgot the Y. And now I took another nap. Well, I went to bed, started over. Lettering frustrated me. Sometimes you gotta call a break when that happens, and just start again. You gotta do a little bit of touch-ups on some hands. You gotta letter. You gotta ink a background now that you have the letters in place. Why did I decide the background lettering would be grayer? No idea. You can really tell how committed I am at this point to bullshitting my way through this. And I don't want that to sound like I'm unhappy with the image. I am. I just know that one of the things I need to work on is this habit of improvising and trusting the image. To a certain degree, I feel like one thing that I struggle with is the perfect balance of improvisation and planning ahead. And yeah, there's not a lot interesting beyond this point. It's just kind of laying down a bit more of the basic touches and highlighting the letters. I have gotten some praise from a friend, Kat, that this lettering looks really great, and I appreciate that compliment very, very much, because not only did it frustrate me the night before, but I wasn't sure how I felt about adding this pop. But I thought it added something. And like so much of my improvising, something is what I'm going for. An instinct, an instinctive kind of play. And so just a quick shout out. Thanks, Kat, for making me feel really good about the lettering. I definitely like it myself. It gives the image more character. It definitely gives the image something greater for the eye to catch on to. And yeah, I don't know. I guess That's my thesis has on this video has just been about improvisation. And as you can see, one final bit of improvisation. I had no idea how I was laying down the shadow, but I just went with it. And it worked for me. So the thesis of the video, improvisation. And as I try and progress as an artist, you're going to see me improvise a lot more. You're going to hear me struggle with it. But I'm going to keep trying to do it. I'm going to keep trying. I'm currently out of town, but I'm back soon. And I might do a follow-up where I show off the image, a show and tell. Where I think I'm really going to discuss what I learned from this. Really take time to think about what I did here, what I did wrong, what I did right, and kind of dissect it myself and invite you to join the conversation. But that's for next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye.